More than a century ago, Prime Minister at the time Wilfrid Laurier stood on stage at Massey Hall in Toronto and told Canadians that, quote, the 20th century shall be the century of Canada. His vision was a Canada of 100 million people. At the time, Canada barely had 6 million. Laurier imagined a country that would grow, prosper, and rival the United States in power and influence. He dreamed big, but his dream was built on exclusion. His immigration vision was for white settlers only. The ambition was right, the execution was not. But Laurier was right about one thing. Canada needed people. Without a growing population, we risked being nothing more than a warehouse of raw materials, fueling someone else's economy. And that argument never really went away, did it? Some might say that in 2025, Canada is just a pawn in another superpower's dictatorial vision. They want our water, our oil, our timber, and our minerals. Fast forward to 1968, and economists, business owners, and scholars were still saying Canada could only reach its full potential once it hit 100 million people. And that was when Canadians were still having kids at replacement levels. Fast forward again to 2015, another ambitious immigration plan was struck and widely accepted across the political spectrum. Even the Conservatives agreed on the math: an aging population, rising healthcare costs, falling birth rates. If we wanted to keep our economy and our social programs alive, we needed more working-age Canadians paying into the system. Immigration wasn't just moral or cultural, it was economic triage. And that brings us to today, the idea of 100 million Canadians by the year 2100. To some, that sounds impossible. To others, it sounds threatening. But here's what's missing in the panic. Canada's immigration levels aren't outrageous by any standards. In fact, they've been relatively steady for decades. What's changed is our sense of scale and our failure to plan for the very growth we invited. Still, you'll hear people say, our hospitals are overflowing, or we don't have housing. But let's be clear, those are provincial responsibilities. And successive provincial governments have cut funding, capped training spots, and offloaded costs. It's not that we have too many people, it's that we've had too little investment. We didn't build for growth, and now growth gets the blame. And when we talk about housing, let's be honest, the problem isn't immigrants buying homes, it's corporations hoarding them. More than 1 million homes across Canada sit empty, owned by investment trusts and private equity. That's not an immigration crisis, that's a greed crisis. Our housing supply isn't broken because of who lives in it, it's broken because of who profits from it. A recent article in The Walrus makes a key point. Population growth can't just be about numbers. It's about building a project, a collective one. It talks about collaboration between Indigenous peoples, French Canadians, environmentalists, and everyday citizens. Because if we're going to grow, it has to be growth that respects land, culture, and sustainability. And it also reminds us we can't justify the infrastructure of a major nation if we don't have the population to support it. It's a catch-22. We need more people to build the systems, but we need better systems to welcome more people. That's not an argument against immigration. That's a call to finally invest in the future we keep saying we want. So maybe Laurier was half right. The 20th century wasn't the century of Canada, but the 21st century could be, if we choose progress over panic. If we stop treating immigration like a crisis and start treating it like what it really is, the greatest opportunity we've ever had to build the country Laurier could only imagine. But for everyone this time. The century is already 25% gone. We're burning daylight here, folks. We need to act now for a better Canada. But what do you think? Should Canada aim for 100 million people, or just learn to manage the ones we've got better? Drop your thoughts below, but respectfully, please, because this one matters. Peace out, and if you're not already following me, you should. It's going to be a ride.